you for coming in person to the sanctuary, and thank you for zooming in from wherever you are, whatever time zone it is. We need to be together. We're all yearning for some way to commemorate the terrible day of the attack, October 7th, 2023, and remember those who were murdered, as well as honor and support those who survived. It's extremely delicate and difficult. I mean, think about it. It took so many years to develop programs and liturgy for Tisha B'Av in past years. Well, so we read Lamentations. Or post-Holocaust, so we've come to the custom of lighting 6 candles. How are we going to deal with this very first year of raw loss? We don't yet know, but we're making our best effort. I'm Rabbi Alicia Magal. This is the Jewish community of Sedona and the Verde Valley in Arizona. And what we have been doing for a year is counting the days as a mitzvah. And each time we come together, I give the count. So we're at a full year, 365 to 366, going full year and going on till tomorrow. And so we light a candle that looks like a Star of David, and we wear pins. And I have a few more pins of the yellow, hopeful, bring the hostages home pins. If some of you want, I'll give it to you after our ceremony. So counting can be a mitzvah. And it is the custom in some congregations that they're saying, "Blessed will be Israel for our obligation to do the mitzvah of counting day after day the imprisonment of the hostages, and establish quickly the commandment of Matir Asurim, redemption of the captive." It is now a full year. On October 7th, 2023, the Shabbat of Simchat Torah last year, Israel experienced the deadliest terrorist attack in its history. At 6:29 in the morning, under a heavy barrage of rocket fire, thousands of Hamas terrorists invaded Israel and disabled the early detection system along the fence that separates the Gaza Strip from Israel. Riding on vehicles equipped with weapons, they infiltrated IDF bases, kibbutzim in the Gaza envelope, and the nearby towns. By air and on foot, they made their way to the Re'im Park, where thousands of Israelis were partying at the Nova Festival, a festival of peace on the land, in nature. And you'll be able to hear from a survivor of that festival tonight. Sticking to a meticulous plan, they took control of the main roads, making it impossible for Israeli first responders to approach the area, and they attacked anyone who tried to escape. Everywhere they reached, the Hamas terrorists displayed unimaginable brutality. They murdered senior citizens, women, and children indiscriminately, entire families. They raped, they mutilated bodies, they looted everything they could get their hands on, and before leaving, set homes and other property on fire, in addition to burning people alive. Hundreds were taken hostage to the Gaza Strip. The State of Israel and the IDF were caught off guard. And that afternoon, large and organized IDF forces reached the communities that were under attack. They were operating under impossible conditions, but our forces displayed unmatched heroism and engaged the terrorists. It took 48 long hours of bloody combat when they finally managed to completely eliminate the threat. It was a fine hour of many people who acted from their hearts and their conscience while risking their lives. Some, too many, did not survive. At the same time, we must remember that it was one of the finest hours of Israeli civil society, which from the brink of disaster on October 7th joined forces immediately. It was a time when men and women on the front lines and on the home front bravely gave assistance. It was a time when Israelis who live in the diaspora, like us, suddenly felt the ground ripped from beneath their feet. Some people got on planes, many others mobilized in their places of residence to help with fundraising, to help increase awareness about the hostage crisis, and did so for the good of their community, for the good of their homeland. During this attack, 860 civilians from kibbutzim and border villages, and nearly half that number from the Nova Festival, and 578 soldiers, law enforcement officers, firefighters, Shin Bet personnel, and first responders were murdered. Thousands were wounded. Hundreds of those were in critical condition. 251 people were abducted to the Gaza Strip, including children, women, senior citizens, foreign nationals, and soldiers. About 50% are still there. The latest number we have is 101. We pray that as many as possible are still alive. We've gathered here to mark the first anniversary of this October 7th event. Events whose resulting shockwaves and upheavals in Israel's civil society and among Israelis and Jews across the globe are among the most difficult we have ever experienced in our lifetime. There have been many memorial programs today. Some of us were watching them this morning, and they will continue tomorrow. We are raising our own voices this evening through poetry, prayer, song, and witness testimony. We do this to remember those who were killed on October 7th and in the aftermath. We do this to keep the hostages in our thoughts. And we do this to help us move from horror to healing and hope, from the raw trauma to resilience. Sometimes when regular words just don't suffice, we turn to poetry. I call on Denise Israel, one of our congregants, to come up and offer a poem she wrote after October 7th.
Commemorating October 7th, 2023. As dawn broke and the sun came up, our world was still at peace. As dawn broke and they rose to dance, it was music that filled their ears. As dawn broke, still in their beds, they listened to the sirens start wailing. As dawn broke and the shots rang out, all our lives changed forever. What followed for all to see, the horror, the fear, the violent death, what followed, the disbelief of events too gruesome for words to describe, what followed will stay etched in our collective minds forever. What followed, the whole world needs to reckon with. The numbers of the dead, children, mutilated, murdered, and burnt alive. The numbers of those kidnapped, babies, women, hurt, raped, and deprived. The numbers of those injured, young and old, forever scarred in body and soul. The numbers of those who are left to mourn, parents, siblings, spouses, children, and friends. A whole year of begging for those in captivity to be freed, a whole year of war and more dead and injured to be counted, a whole year of protests against the war on every corner of every street, a whole year of wishing that peace could come into the land. Now it is time to remember them by name, one by one, the heroes, the slaughtered, the fallen. Now it is time to light a candle for all those whose soul reached for the heavens much too soon. Now it is time to make sure the stories of their lives, however short, will never be forgotten. Now it is time to bring the remaining hostages back. Bring them home. Let us hope and pray that they may return to us, to their loved ones. Let us hope and pray that there may be peace in the land of Israel. Let us hope and pray that our hearts will be softened by the prospect of togetherness. And let us hope and pray that this will come true for all the inhabitants of this land. As dawn breaks and we mark 1 year to that fateful, gruesome day, as dawn breaks and we cry, although we no longer have tears to shed, as dawn breaks and we long for peace, peace that has eluded us for so long, as dawn breaks and we ask the world not to forsake us, as we have been forsaken before. And we proclaim in one strong and loud voice, Am Israel Chai, today and forever. I want to add a couple of words because I wrote this more than a week ago. I can't remember anymore. And it is incredibly hard to write anything these days because nothing is static. Everything changes every day with every attack and counterattack, with every happening in the Middle East. Everything changes. And, but I decided I wanted to, I had to. But what I want to make clear is that as much as my heart is, and always will be in Israel, with Israel, and with my people, I want to invite each and every one of you to look into your hearts and to acknowledge the incredible, incredible suffering that is going on all through the region, and to realize that we must try our darndest to find a solution in a non-confrontational way. And I thank you.
Thank you, Denise. I'm now going to introduce a video clip that was sent out by the American Jewish Committee. It's hard and necessary to watch. Jenny, would you play it?
As we learn more about the atrocities committed by Hamas,
We have some really disturbing new information.
There was no mercy shown as the elderly, the women, the children, the babies were kidnapped.
This news is beyond devastating.
Maya Izuchev was working as a bouncer at the Nova Festival. It was supposed to be a joyous occasion on October 7th. the night before the horrific massacre of Hamas's terrorists. Maya escaped the deadly bomb shelter of Re'im minutes before the ruthless attack, and she ran for 4.5 hours straight, 20 kilometers, through a war zone of nonstop bombing, bullets, watching everything burning beside her. And since that day, Maya has been sharing her story, and she will share it with us now. And she shares the stories of many others that were silenced forever that day in order to spread, as she calls it, the light of our angels, and so she can speak the truth about what happened. Maya, thank you for coming to speak with us tonight.
Thank you so much, Alicia. I'm so honored to be speaking with you. Actually, this video kind of shocked me a little bit. A lot of people that I know from this video, along with Guy Gilboa Dalal, it was actually a half split second of the video that he was kidnapped, and along with many more beautiful souls. So thank you for remembering them the way they are, beautiful and dancing. That is thank you. So nice to meet you, everyone. I wish it was in better circumstances, but my name is Maya. I'm 30 years old now, and on October 7, which is actually 1 year from now, it's crazy for me to say it because I'm reliving this day like it happened yesterday. So on October 6th, actually, we arrived at the Nova Festival, me and my friend Carmel, and we were both working at the festival, and I was also working with my friend Shani Gabai, that she was murdered. And we started our shift, and it was supposed to be one of the biggest festivals of the year, the happiest one. I'm also part of the production, so we planned for this festival for like 4 months. The shade was brought especially from Brazil, and we were all so happy and excited about it. It was international festival, people from all over the world. I checked their IDs, so people came from Brazil, Ukraine, Russia. People came from Germany and US, people from all over the world. And I finished my shift at about 6 a.m. And me and my roommate back at the time, Eden Stevenman, we started head out to the camping area. At that time, everything was so amazing, and there was a beautiful sunrise, one of the most beautiful sunrise that I've ever seen. And we were about to join the festival. It was about 6 and 10 minutes, something like that. And I could feel the energy of all the kids that went through me. Everyone just passed through me. I was the first face that they saw when they entered the festival. And even though I was working all night and I was tired and I just wanted to rest all the time, another kid comes along, and he's just with the sparkles in their eyes and colorful clothes, and a lot of juggling things and teddy bears, and all these things that they just bring to the festival to make people laugh and be in a good mood. And they were just like screaming at me, Maya, will you join us? Thank you so much for being here. And it was just, how people sometimes get angry that they wait a few moments like at the entrance, but there was no such thing because everybody were such in a good vibe. And in about 5:30, something like that, everybody were already inside. And I told my friend Shani that she can go to the festival and I would stay because we didn't need two bouncers at the time. All the people were already inside. So me and my friend Eden, we went to the camping area. It was about 6 and 10 minutes. And the only thing that I was able to do, I changed my shoes to sneakers because I had like big platform boots that I work as a bouncer, so nobody can pass me, so I will be a little bit taller. And about 6:10, 6:15, I changed my shoes to sneakers so I would be comfortable dancing. I didn't know that that decision, one of them, one of many, saved my life. So me and Eden were sitting in the camp area. We were with 10 more friends at the festival. At those festival, we see friends from all over Israel that we normally don't see like every other day. So this is our moment to meet with all of our friends from all over the country. And we were waiting for the friends to join us because some of them went to the parking lot to see the sunrise. A lot of people actually went to the parking lot to see the sunrise because it was so beautiful. And about 6:27, something like that, before even the Tseva Adom alerts started, we heard that the speakers went off. They were about like we were sitting right next to the speakers, and they started to go a little bit like like some weird noises. The music was kind of off, and that was weird because our friend Danny, he was working with Matan Lior, and may his memory be a blessing. And we knew that the speakers are the newest in the market. I think it's void speakers if somebody understands something about it, but we knew that there cannot be a problem with the speakers because the festival is planned for like 4 months ahead. And that's when I felt that something is wrong. Even before I saw the rockets, even before we heard the Tseva Adom alerts. So 6:29, and the music went off, and then I looked at the sky, and you probably seen the videos, but there were just crazy amount of rockets. Like every other minute, there were like 20, 30 rockets in the sky. Boom, 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 like not stopping, not stopping, not stopping. And the alerts just went on and on. Tseva Adom, Tseva Adom. And we didn't know what's going on. I continued, to see it and everything. I didn't even realize because we have the Iron Dome. So I figured that everything is going to be okay. And then my friend Leo from the parking lot, along with two more friends, she ran towards me, and she just dramatically pulled the chair out of my seat while I was sitting on it, and she was just like, get up. And I didn't understand why she's panicking so hard. And she told me that everybody is like running like crazy to the cars. And I want you to imagine 3,500 people at the same time running to the cars, like in every direction. The police opened the festival area was in dirt roads, and it was made there were fences, but they were put there especially for the festival. So the police officer just opened up the gates, the fences, and people were just running all over the area. So we started also running to the car. We didn't know what to do. So we just went to the car, me, my friend Sagi, and my roommate back at the time, Eden. We arrived to the car, and Sagi was in a really bad shape. He was freaking out in the car, screaming, like, let's get out of here, let's get out of here, while we were kind of indifferent to the situation. And we still tried to say hello to our friends just because we want to see them, and we didn't even know that it was the last time for some of them. And we start driving in the dirt roads. So I'm sure you've all seen that there is only one main road leading to the festival, and the other ones are dirt roads, like inside the whole festival area. So we tried to make our way towards the main road, and through all the people that are screaming and panicking. And I remember that I looked to my right side, and I saw people freezing completely, praying, panicking, shaking on the floor. And on the other side, you could see people like putting music in their cars, dancing like they will never get us, like saying it's a blast party or making jokes about it. And you just couldn't tell which side to pick. Like, should I panic, or should I be indifferent to this, or I don't know. And At this time, Sagi was keep jumping from the car and putting his hands over his head. In Israel, we are kind of used to rockets, especially in the Gaza envelope. So this is the instructions of what you need to do if there is a rocket attack and you're driving. So the shreds won't hurt you. So you need to get as far away from the car as you can, because they're targeting main roads. So you need to get as far away as you can from the car and put your hands over your head. So that was what Sagi was trying to do all along. He was just trying to jump all the time from the car and do the instructions. This time, Eden, she just completely, she didn't freak out. She just couldn't handle Sagi's freaking out, my friend Sagi. So she just opened the car door and she went back to the festival area to meet with her sister and her sister's husband. They were at the festival. Back at the time, I didn't even know that Eden is alive, thank God, but she suffered 6 hours of gunfire. She was stuck inside a ticket booth. And back at the time, I didn't even know that this is the fate of the people that I'm leaving there. And we started driving. So we are trying to get to the main road for like 30 minutes already, because Sagib keeps jumping around from the car and people are trying to, 3,500 people trying to get away from there. It was like big chaos of people freaking out, people screaming, people laughing. You don't even know. And about 7 and 10, 7 and 15, we managed to reach to the main road and we took a right. So on the left side, there was a huge traffic jam, and this is the way to Tel Aviv. On the right side, it's the way to the kibbutzim, and that way was free at the time. So we just decided that we should just circle around the traffic jam, and we decided to go right. Also one of the decisions that saved our lives. And we started driving. We drove for like 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And then Sagi screamed at me, "Maya, stop the car! Stop the car now!" And I freaked out. I hit the brakes really hard, and I stopped the car right next to the bomb shelter of Re'im. And I looked up from the wheel, and I saw that the two cars that were driving in front of me were getting shot. I realized that there were terrorists in both sides of the road, targeting the cars that driving in the middle, like zero chance of survival. And I remember that Sagi opened the door and he ran to the bomb shelter, and I was just hiding under the wheel because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I get out, I get shot, or I just froze for a few seconds. And I remember that Sagi screamed at me, come on to the bomb shelter from the right side. I looked at him and he was just like, get over here. And I figured that if I die, I might as well die running and not hiding. So I just ran to the bomb shelter. And I was hoping that I'll get there, even though it's like 2-3 meters. And when I got inside the bomb shelter, it took my breath away. There were already 30, 35, maybe 40 people inside the bomb shelter, and it's very, very small size. It's like 2 meters on maybe 5, a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, something like that. And people were like squeezing there and screaming and praying for their lives. Shema Israel. Some people were just frozen. Some people. And I remember that I was very indifferent to the situation, and I was like, okay, what are those people panicking about? Because I was combat soldier at artillery force, my military experience, and we all know that if terrorists invade Israel, they come in squads of 4 or 5, like tops. Maybe 5 terrorists somehow managed to invade Israel, and in a couple of minutes, the police, IDF, somebody will come. So those people that they don't have any reason to panic. I was very, very indifferent. And Sagi, he was 10 steps ahead of me, and he already went to the end of the bomb shelter where the people that were alive got rescued, and they were lying under dead bodies. And I was in front of the bomb shelter. I was just looking from the entrance of the bomb shelter, just looking right and left, like what's going on. I didn't even realize. And as we heard that the gunfire approached, and still rockets and missiles all over our heads, and we were in this bomb shelter for like 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And then I felt a hand grabbing me by the wrist, and I saw Sagi, and he's looking me in the eyes, and he's telling me, Maya, we are not staying here. And I remember, now it makes me laugh, but back at the time, I tried to talk sense into him and telling him that we are safe in this bomb shelter because it is what it is. It's a bomb shelter, and we know that there are terrorists outside. So this is the only safe place to be. And the only thing he said while holding my wrist is, Maya, we're not staying here. In Hebrew, לא נשארים כאן. Not staying here, not staying here. And I'm trying for 5 minutes, to have a conversation, a logic one, like, do you understand that there are missiles? Do you understand that there are terrorists? Like he's some crazy person, I don't know. And the only thing that he did was grab my wrist and telling me until I understood, Maya, we're not staying here. Maya, we're not staying here. Eventually at 7:45 or something like that, I just decided that I would go with him wherever he goes, and we just went to the car, under fire, under everything, and people told us to stay, but we just went to the car, and we made a U-turn, and we drove back to where the traffic jam was. And back at the time, I didn't even know what happened in the bomb shelter. Only after 2 days, maybe 1 day and a half, something like that, we got the video from the bomb shelter. And I remember that first of all, I didn't believe that it happened. And I remember that I zoomed in to the time of the video. 7:55, the terrorists were already there. And I just watched it again and again, because for me, back at the time, I just left the place. The horrible thing was the running and the shooting, not that it's not horrible, it's horrible enough, but and this is also one of the decisions that saved our lives. And as we turned to the left side to make a U-turn back to the traffic jam, I remember that I looked over my shoulder to the right side, where the cars that were just coming back from the direction that we're supposed to go to came back with people with gun injuries inside the car, and people with bloody hands. They opened the window, they were injured, and still they told us with their bloody hands, please don't go there, terrorist shooting. Don't go. And still, I remember that I looked at the situation, and it was like I'm watching a movie, and I'm still thinking about, maybe something happened. My mind was playing tricks on me, so I don't know. I don't even know why, but I guess the disconnection helped me to get along, because afterwards I saw something even more terrible. And then when I got connected, and I froze completely. So we continued to drive to the left side, and we arrived to the traffic jam again. And Sagi opens up the door, and he starts running. And in my mind, in my head, I'm still the logic one. Like, how can he get out of there without a car? What is he going to run all the way to Rishon LeZion? It's 1 hour drive. Where would he go? So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I will stay in the car, and after a while, I'll try to move around the traffic jam, and I will meet up with him later. And as I'm thinking that thought, and I'm trying to make my way out of around the traffic jam, I saw a red car coming from the other direction, and there was very, very little similarity between the thing that I saw to a car, because it was all smashed. It was a red car. I will never forget it in my life. And the hood was open like that. The car almost crashed a tree. Bullet holes all over the car. The windshields smashed. And the driver, she opens up the door, and she screams, please help me, they shot her. they shot her. And I remember that I looked up a little bit through the windshield of our car, and I saw the other seat. And the door opens up, and there was a girl, a woman, very, very young, and all she was probably with a gunshot in her head or her neck, because she just screamed and fell to the ground with a lot of blood all over her. And that's when it clicked. Up until then, I was very, very indifferent to the situation, like nothing's happening, and probably the people in the car somehow got caught, or they, like, maybe they're drunk. I don't know, my mind was trying to protect me, but after I've seen that, there is no way to protect. So I ran to the field, and at this point I have like a blackout in my memory. I don't remember. I think this is my brain trying to protect me from the trauma. Thanks, brain. Didn't work, but never mind. So I was just sitting in the field, covering my eyes like that, with my hands. And can you imagine, from all of the thousands of people that were in the festival, the person who ran towards me was my friend Nitzan. He was a photographer at the festival. So I had so many miracles along the way. And he just came, he saw me like sitting in the field covering my eyes, and he took me up, he lifted me up, and he's like, asked me what's going on, because the people that were stayed in the festival, they had no idea what's going on the road. That's what I'm saying. And I was lucky enough to be the first that drove from the right side. I saw what's going on, and then we drove to the left side and we saw what's going on. So we were lucky. I was lucky enough to understand what's going on the roads. And I told Nitzan, I remember that I grabbed him by the shoulders like that, and I started shaking him, and I told him, Nitzi, they shot her, and he has like a nickname for me, Kuchti. And he looking at me like I was crazy, like I'm mad, and he just asked, Kuchti, they shot who? Who they shot? Like, what? But then he saw the look in my eyes, and he realized that he should make a U-turn. Can you imagine that he wanted to go back to the traffic jam to get his expensive photographing equipment from the car? It was like $100,000 value of equipment that he had in the car, because he's a professional photographer. And when I heard that he wanted to get equipment, it just shook him like crazy. And I tried to tell him that they're shooting people. And then we made a U-turn, and we start running to the field. Probably same video that you've shown already of the people running and falling. And in one of the cars, right before we got to that field, one of the cars that was private cars, there were private cars that tried to make their way to the field, but the field was hilly. So, and in my mind, car equals death. So no way that they're going to make it. And in the front seat of one of those cars, I saw Sagi. And I just ran to the car, and I tried to pull him out of the car. And he tried to get me inside the car. And one of the crazy moments that, like, before like half an hour, 1 hour, we were dancing, and now the driver screams at me, and he like slapped me back to reality. Like, what is your decision? Because I need to go. I need to go now. You need to decide now. And I was like, okay, so Sagi, I'll take you out. And we started running. So you've already seen how it looks like, I think. I don't need to describe you how it looks like, the running and people falling. So I think I'll describe a little bit how it feels like. It feels like an animal. One of the guilt feelings that I have is that I didn't help people that were falling down, because my mind was just like, oh, he probably twisted his ankle. Oh, they're probably just injured, or they just, because it's hilly, so they fell. So my mind was playing tricks on me, trying to convince me that nothing is going on. That's why I was so indifferent to the situation. Only after a couple of days, I realized what I've been through. So we were just running like animals in a field. And I remember that at that time I was still a little bit indifferent. And I thought to myself, maybe we should stop. I don't know. Maybe we should stop at some point, because there were a lot of rumors. People were just screaming, "Oh, they're in Re'im, which is a kibbutz nearby. Oh, they're in Be'eri. They're here." Back at the time, there were 22 kibbutzes occupied that we didn't even know. So imagine the luck that we had to arrive to Patish. After 4.5 hours of running, we didn't even know which way we were running. We were running from bullets. If you heard and saw them from your right side, so you ran to the left, and from the left side you ran to the right. So I don't know if we were running in circles or we just Sagi had an iPhone. So after that, he just took out his whole route, like the whole like the whole running route that we had. So that's how I know how many kilometers we ran and for how long. And I remember that at one point I heard a rumor, but somehow my heart told me that it's true. I heard somebody say they're kidnapping. הם חוטפים, they're kidnapping. They're kidnapping. And I remember that I heard this, and I told Sagi that I rather die than be raped, to be honest with you. And for those few seconds, I just thought that I might stay here and die. And Sagi pulled me, and we continued running. And Sagi twisted his ankle so badly that he couldn't move for 1 week, but we didn't even felt it. My whole legs were scratched and bloody from the running in the fields. We didn't even notice until we got to Patish, which is a kibbutz nearby. Like 20 minutes from Patish, there were like chamama, like how we call it, greenhouse, I think. And volunteers from Patish saw us there, and they showed us the remaining way to Patish that we didn't even know where we got. And when we arrived to Patish, there was attempt. It was about 12:30, about 1 p.m. when we arrived to Patish after all of this. And there was attempt of terrorists to get inside Patish 15 minutes later. But thank God, because a lot of party goers went to Patish and there were already forces there. So they didn't succeed. They tried to also invade Patish. Then we went to a bus to Beersheba. And the only thing I could think about, because when we arrived to Patish, I managed to charge my phone very little, and I saw messages from Eden. If you remember, she's my roommate, and she was my roommate back at the time, and she went back to the festival because she couldn't handle Sagi's energy in the car. It was too difficult for her, and she found herself locked inside a ticket booth at the festival for 6 hours. She had a great miracle. I remember that she sent me pictures of her, full with blood, because they were shot inside the ticket booth twice. Her sister's husband got shot 3 times. They're all alive and well, but that's a crazy miracle because the ticket booth is made that every employee will stand. There is 5 windows from each side, wide open. So there is no way that if somebody looked through the window and wouldn't see the people hiding there. It's originally designed so every employee will stand in the window and hand out bracelets to people, bracelets like that for the festival. And the miracle that happened there, I cannot even describe in words, because if a terrorist only look from the window, from one side, just one side, he can see everyone and shot them all. But they just decided to shot the whole thing from behind. So Eden had a great miracle, and I remember that I just saw pictures of her filled with blood, and I couldn't do anything, and I didn't even know if she's alive, because after that, there was like I'm saying citizen of Gaza, but I'm saying it in comma because he saw people lying in their own blood, in their own piss, and he stole their phones and money. So that's why we didn't know what happened to Eden, or if she's alive and well, or she was just lying there for 6 hours with her sister husband, and along with 2 more friends of mine, which also big miracle were saved. And that's when I started realizing what happened to the other people. Then we drove from Beer Sheva. The people from Patish, they arranged buses for us to Beer Sheva, which was kind of safe at the time. The drive wasn't safe, but it comparing to the festival area, it's more safe than that. So we went to Beer Sheva, and there were parents driving from all across Israel 200 kilometers per hour to get their kids from there, crossing red lights and everything. And I didn't tell my parents at the time where I was, and Sagi neither, but his mom called him. She knew where he was, and that was one of the most of the moment that I knew that Sagi has to come home, because she called him and she asked him, "Where are you?" while we were running, and he told her, "Mom, I will call you if we'll make it out." And a woman that's always like, "Oh, what are you doing? No, let me know. I need to know where you are." She went silent, and she told him, "Keep yourself safe, my son." And when she said "my son," her voice broke down, because he's the youngest and they're a grieved family anyway. They lost their father like 1.5 years before. And I just knew that they cannot suffer more losses. And when we were in Beersheba, there was one father that came to pick up his daughter. And so we were like 7-8 people inside the car. And then we started driving back, and we stopped to help some people with their car in Beersheba. They were the friends of the father. And then we saw what happened to people that went through the road. The car was all smashed with bullets, and there was a guy obsessively circling around the car trying to fix it. Well, there was nothing to fix. And the girl was sitting on the floor holding her knees, and I asked her if there is something I can do to help, and she told me, "Just look at the car." Although all the car was like broken, but the thing that got me the most is the bullet that was still stuck in her chair where she was sitting, like 1 centimeter, and that's it. And that's when the bigger picture came to me. And about 5 p.m. we arrived to Rishon LeZion, and that's when I thought that the nightmare was over, but it just began, because we needed to recognize our friends from the video, so we had to watch them all. And I'll spare from you, but because the story is horrible enough. But that's how we realized that Guy was kidnapped. This is Guy Gilboa Dalal. He's the baby brother of one of my childhood friends, and a good friend of mine, Gal, which still held in captivity. So every time I speak about him, if someone that hears me can do something about it, I pray.
Maya,
Uh,
your story is just touching our hearts so. And I'm wondering if you could just say a word about the Nova exhibit and the efforts to find healing in the group. You are telling us one story out of thousands, and it makes it real even more for us. But can you give us a word, because then we're going to go on with our program, and I hope that you and your friends will stay and watch. What are you doing through the
yeah.
exhibit to heal?
Okay, so first of all, I'm so happy that you asked, because talking about healing process is a whole different thing. And as you can see, I'm smiling and I'm happy about it. And I would like to tell you one of the happiest moments in my life, when I went from a good friend's funeral, and I took another survivor. His name is Or, and she's really brave woman. And she ran with a bullet in her leg. Didn't even notice. So she asked me when we came back, it was so sad, the funeral and everything, and she asked me if we can stop at one of the Nova healing centers. And you cannot say no to a woman with a bullet in her leg. So I was like, yes, oh, whatever you want, I'll take you there. And then I entered to the healing center. And after 1 month of seeing people like buried and dead, I saw many living. Wow. And the people were playing together, and there are therapists there, and there are like it could be a mentoring program, it could be horse riding, it could be surfing, it could be just sitting along with other survivors, it could be artists that comes, it could be painting class, and all of those crazy things to help us heal. So from the first moment that it happened, the Nova community realized that the power of the community, like we all know, like the Jewish community, that like you guys sitting and listening to me, which is crazy, and it connects us. So they understand that mostly survivors can understand survivors. So one of the main things I think that helps is the mentorship program. That it's like they're taking survivors. I'm here speaking to you, but some of my friends cannot leave their beds. So we take them out, and we try to help them with skills that are given to us, such as NLP, such as a lot more. And to share about my healing process is one of the most amazing things that I'm doing, because each and every one of you, me speaking here in US about this, about what happened, speaking to Jewish people, having this community with me, it's also one of the biggest healing process that can be. And also we are building right now a Nova house. Right now, it's only once a week, the community day for everyone, but we are trying to build a Nova house. So it will be there. It will be remaining for everyone that needs help, everyone that needs psychological therapy or any other kind of therapy. And also the exhibit, which does amazing, amazing work. It actually shows the whole festival from I'm not sure if you got a chance to see it, but if you're in LA, or soon the exhibit will go to Miami. If you have a chance to do it, please do it. It shows the whole process of like getting into a festival and until what happened. So I highly recommend. It can be a little bit tough, but you don't have to. You can just share the experience of a festival and see the beautiful souls.
Yes, that exhibit has gotten a lot of publicity. I know our son Amir helped in one of the healing sessions that was, people were flown, the survivors were flown to Ojai in California, and he was part of one of those healing sessions. So please stay on, Maya, and take in the rest of what we are offering to you and all of the survivors, not only from the Nova Festival, but for the kibbutzim, and for really all of Israel.
Yeah.
I prepared.
And, I'm so sorry, but if it's okay by you, I will just send on the chat the link.
Okay.
So you can also check out the website of the Nova and see like what we are doing, and also you can help us. So if it's okay with you, I will just share it in the chat, and whoever wants is more than welcome. And also I want to thank everyone that listened to my story. I know it's very hard. I relive it in my head all the time, but you don't have to, and still you shared it with me, and I'm so appreciative for that. And thank you so much.
Toda rabba. Sharing and going through it again, it can trigger, a reaction. So we really appreciate that you dug deep and were able to really go through it with us. Jenny's taking the information on the chat, and we will share that with you so that you can be in touch if you have further questions or ideas that you want to share. So I wrote a letter. And it starts, "Dear survivors." So Maya, this is for you and for all of your friends. I want to begin by expressing my deepest condolences for the unimaginable pain you have endured. Anachnu mishtatfim b'tzarchem. Words can feel inadequate in the face of such trauma, but please know that you are not alone in this journey. Your experience is not only heard, but felt by many who care deeply. The trauma of the Nova massacre has left a profound mark, and it's completely natural to feel a whirlwind of emotions: anger, sorrow, confusion, perhaps even a sense of isolation. It's important to allow yourself the space to grieve, to process, and to heal in your own time. Glad to hear that there's so much effort in the healing gatherings. Your feelings are valid and they matter. As you navigate the days ahead, remember that healing is not linear. Some moments may feel overwhelming, while others may offer a glimpse of hope. Surround yourself with those who understand, be they friends, family, or support groups. Sharing your story and your emotions can be a powerful step toward finding some peace amidst the chaos. Know that it's okay to seek help. Professional support can provide a safe space to unpack your experiences and feelings. You deserve that support and care as you work through the layers of this trauma. Please take care of yourself. Allow yourself to feel joy when it comes, no matter how fleeting it may seem. Each small moment of light is a testament to your resilience and strength. As you move forward, hold on to the memories of those you lost, allowing their spirits to inspire you to cherish life in all its complexity. You are a survivor, and your journey, while incredibly challenging, is also one of courage and strength. We send you warmth, compassion, and a reminder that you are loved and supported with heartfelt sympathy. Rabbi Magal and all of our congregation and friends.
Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome. El Malei Rachamim. We chant this, and today it felt right to find a totally rewritten El Malei Rachamim, God of compassion. I've included it in your packets and on the slide. Why don't we all read it together? El Malei Rachamim, God of compassion, in a universe that lacked compassion, grant tender rest beneath the wings of the Shekhinah to the broken spheres of human radiance, to the souls of every one of the injured and the violated in the horrors of the pogrom of October 7th, for the fear that fell upon each man and woman, elders, youth, and children. Our mouths do not know how to scream, for we lament and mourn for them, for us. Because of this, our hearts are faint. Because of this, our eyes grow dim. Woe to us, for we are broken. Woe, for our homes were shattered, our souls and bodies tormented, and our faces darkened. Therefore, compassionate one, reveal our torment to the world and for all time, and from one end of the earth to the other. May the silenced voices utter, guard our souls in the land of life, for life is our heritage. May we come in peace to healing. Please, God, heal all the injured. Please, God, heal the families and the caretakers. Please, God, hear and heal us all, and let us say, Amen. Just next week, we will be having our Yizkor service along with Yom Kippur, but tonight, a very special Yizkor, a remembrance, that word, remember. You have it on in your booklets, and this is by Rabbi Nomi Levy, one of my dear friends and colleagues. Let's read it together. May God remember all the women, men, and children of Israel who were brutally murdered on the 7th of October. We are shattered, God. Our hearts are breaking on this Yom Kippur. Our minds cannot grasp the enormity of the loss. We keep thinking we will wake up from this nightmare. We wish we could make sense of the senselessness of this tragedy. We wish we could have protected every soul who was brutally slaughtered. We wish we could understand your silence, God. The cries of the victims echo through the universe. God of the brokenhearted, God of the living, God of the dead, send comfort and strength to the grieving. Send hope to the children. Send healing to Israel. We pray they are at peace now, far away from the horror they endured. Their lives ended in tragedy, but that is not how we will remember them. We will remember their heroism, their love for family and for life itself, their faith in the future, their laughter, their kindness, their determination, their spirit of hope, their passion for Israel and for peace. Teach us, God, to believe that we can rise up from the tragedy with hope for Israel, hope for our people, hope for peace, hope for the new year that is upon us. Let them find peace in your presence, God. Their lives were extinguished, but their light will forever shine upon us and illuminate our way. Amen. I now call on two speakers to offer A Sense of Healing and Hope by Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks. First, Richard Brown, would you come up and offer? And we'll just listen. We don't have that in our booklets.
The following words from Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, Celebrating Life. One of the most important decisions I have learned in the course of reflection on Jewish history is the difference between optimism and hope. Optimism is the belief that things will get better. Hope is the belief that together we can make things better. Optimism is a passive virtue. Hope is an active one. It takes no courage to be an optimist, but it takes a great deal of courage to have hope. Knowing what we do of our past, no Jew can be an optimist. But Jews have never, despite a history of sometimes awesome suffering, given up hope.
But Jews have never given up hope. Thank you, Richard. And Linda Patton, would you offer another writing of Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks, The Dignity of Difference?
Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks, of blessed memory, The Dignity of Difference. To be a Jew is to be an agent of hope. In a world serially threatened by despair, every ritual, every mitzvah, every syllable of the Jewish history, every element of Jewish law is a protest against escapism, resignation, and the blind acceptance of fate. Judaism is a sustained struggle, the greatest ever known, against the world that is, in the name of the world that could be, should be, but is not yet. There is no more challenging vocation. Throughout history, when human beings have sought hope, they have found it in the Jewish history. Judaism is the religion. Israel is the hope, is the home of hope.
Israel is the home of hope. A prayer for peace in Israel. Let's read it together. Rock and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, the first manifestation of our redemption. Shield it with your loving kindness and envelop it with your peace, and bestow your light and truth upon its leaders, ministers, and advisors, and grace them with your good counsel, and strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land, and grant them deliverance, and adorn them in a mantle of victory. Ordain peace in the land, and grant its inhabitants eternal happiness. Be near to all the people of Israel throughout the lands of their dispersion. Plant within their hearts the love of Zion, and may those of our people who are so inspired come to Jerusalem, your city, which bears your name. Spread your spirit over all the inhabitants of our land. Uproot hatred and hostility, jealousy and evil, and plant in our heart love and brotherhood, peace and friendship, and speedily fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. We want it so much, and we say, may that come to pass, may it be. Lu Yehi, a song that we have found another translation for. I invite Denise Israel to come up again as our closing song with all the hope and all the prayers in our hearts. Lu Yehi.
עוד יש מפרש לבן באופק מול ענן שחור כבד, כל שנבקש לו יהי. ואם בחלונות הערב אור נרות החג רועד, כל שנבקש לו יהי.
Luyahi, Luyahi, Ana, Luyahi, Kol Shenevakesh, Luyahi. Luyahi, Luyahi, Ana, Luyahi, Kol Shenevakesh, Luyahi. Against the black cloud in the distance, see a white sail like a dream. All we ask is peace, may it be. And in the evening windows, let it be for joy the candles gleam. All we ask is peace, may it be. May it be, oh yes, may it be. All we ask is peace, may it be. May it be, oh yes, may it be. All we ask is peace, may it be. What is that anguished cry I hear above the shofar sounds of war? All we ask is peace, may it be. Give life again to dreams of peace and ease of heart to those we love. All we ask is peace, let it be. Luyahi, Luyahi, Ana, Luyahi, Kol Shenevakesh, Luyahi. Luyahi, Luyahi, Ana, Luyahi, Kol Shenevakesh, Luyahi. Thank you, Denise. I think what we need is for us to end our evening, our difficult, important, loving, hopeful evening with Oseh Shalom, like we end every of our Shabbat services. So why don't you get closer to each other, and we'll all make a big circle and sing Oseh Shalom, because what we want is for that peace in the high places to come down and be peaceful here among all of us. And thank you again, Maya, and all your friends, and everybody watching today. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, yimru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ma'aseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Wide shot. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Todah, everybody.